Hello everyone, I am Luna. I got my Kazuha about a year ago, and back then I also recorded a video building him. So today I just want to look how much better he got in the year I had him, by first looking at his build and then looking at how much more he buffs my other characters. So I just want to say I've made 3 other videos doing the same thing with other characters, so if you like this video, you might want to check those out too. I will put the playlist at the end of this video. Anyway, with that said, let's get straight into it. So let's just start with his overall stats. So looking at the stats from a year ago, you can see that most of the stats have actually gone down, except for the elemental mastery, that is. And of course that is because his buff skill from elemental mastery, and back then I found his own damage a bit more important than I do now. So you can't see this on the screenshot, but I also have more anemo damage bonus now, because back then I know I didn't have an anemo damage bonus goblet, which I do now. So that is one of the other stats that have gone up, but for the rest pretty much everything has gone down. Now going to the weapon, in the video from a year ago I only had this refinement rank 1, and since I have it at refinement rank 5 now, the passive has doubled, so that's a pretty obvious and nice improvement, I think. Now going to the artifacts, I think there is a pretty obvious improvement in the artifacts this time, because they were just so bad a year ago. I hadn't really farmed a lot of iridescent veneers, and the set just really didn't like me. It still doesn't, by the way. Now the flower is actually one of the only pieces that was a little good, although you can pretty obviously see that there is a lot more elemental mastery on it now. Then the feather also has a lot more elemental mastery, and for the rest it was fine, except for the HP then, I guess. But of course, you know, the flower and the feather are always the easiest things to get good ones from. But then when you go to the sands, it gets a bit painful. I had an attack sands, not good on Kazuha. Now the substats here are pretty bad, actually on both of them, although you can obviously see that this one is better both for the elemental mastery main set and for the crit damage and crit rate. But this is a pretty obvious example of iridescent veneer still not liking me. Now next is the goblet. Again, it was an attack one, really bad. I mean, the substats were pretty fine, but for the rest, really bad. Of course, I did not have an option for an anemo damage bonus goblet, and if I did, it was probably a very bad one. Now, the substats are pretty fine on both of the artifacts, although this one really has a lot of attack. It's painful, and it's not even from iridescent veneer. But, you know, getting anemo damage bonus, it's really rare for me for some reason. Genshin just doesn't want me to have good anemo stats. So thanks for that, I guess. Anyway, next is the circlet, of course. And this one has improved a little bit. Still has HP, a little less though. Still has defense. Oh no, it doesn't. Still has attack. It's less flat attack, so that's good. And then, of course, the crit damage makes it that this is obviously a much better piece. But yeah, I think overall you can see a pretty big improvement in the artifacts, although, you know, there are still some painful ones. Now, I'm not sure if it's actually interesting to compare all of the artifacts separately, because this is the first time I'm doing this. So if you'd like to, you can tell me your opinion on this in the comments. Now going over to the talents, they've actually not changed. I leveled both the skill and the burst to level 8 in that video, and they're still that level. Now I think this is a bit shameful, so maybe I should level them soon. But yeah, there's not much of a difference to see here. Now with that, I think I've looked at all of his kits. So in the video from a year ago, I looked at how much he improved my Hutawa's damage. I'm going to do the same now. And of course, my Hutawa herself also does a lot more damage now. So I'm going to compare this by calculating the percentages of Hutawa's damage increase instead of, you know, just the numbers, because obviously I can't compare it that way. So looking at the video from a year ago, her damage went from 23,800 to 31,900 from Kazuha's buff. So I calculated the difference, and the damage increase is about 35% of her initial damage. So with that information, let's go and see how much he improves my Hutawa's damage now. So let's start with looking at Hutawa's own base attack. It's a bit early, I think. He still has some defense up. 31,500 that was. Let's look one more time to be sure. Yes, that's exactly 31,500. I saw that right. Now let's swirl Pyro. There you go. And now we can look again. If she would crit, please. And then no. No, still not. Thank you, Hutawa. That helped a lot. Now I'm gonna heal her really quickly, because if she dies, I have to do it all over again. And I don't want to do that. 45,500. Okay. Oh, See, that's why I healed her. Okay, I'd like to look at that one more time then. I only saw one number that actually crit. And I don't think that's enough to be sure of her damage. So let's see again. You know, I think I'm going to sacrifice her burst just to be able to throw pyro. There you go. Okay, that's pretty certain then. 45,500. Then that's it. Let's calculate the damage difference. The difference was 14,000. And from her initial damage, that is about 45%. So 10% more. That is a pretty good increase, I think. So with that, I think I've pretty much looked at everything important. So I do think this video is gonna be a bit shorter than expected. I am sorry about that, but there is nothing else I can look at. So anyway, I really hope you still enjoyed this video despite it being so short. If there's anything you'd like to tell me in the comments, definitely feel free to do so. If you want to see how much Utawa has improved in the year I got her, that's also in this playlist, so definitely click on that if you're interested, and I hope I see you in the next one.